What's good? What's good? I cannot get this video made. My thoughts are not there. I have an idea, but I just cannot get it out coherently. I should smoke less weed. Not gonna happen. Anyways, my friend Christian Watson, who is another YouTuber, made a video talking about the New York City mayoral campaign and process, and how they elected or nominated for the Democrats a full-fledged socialist, Zoran Madami or something like that. He's crazy. I saw the tweets circulating about how he was talking about how violence is an artificial construct. That is just the postmodern nonsense that is fueling this resurgence of socialism circa 2025. He talks about how the education system has failed the generations, not teaching the true history, the true violent history of socialism. For example, the Bolsheviks killed more than the Nazis did, but it's not beneficial to the elites to have that information widespread and accepted, because the elites, they don't actually care about socialism. They care about the consolidation of power and resources. And socialism allows them to do just that. They believe that they will be the administrators and the bureaucrats of these massive systems. And when you are on the in, when you're at the top of an institution or an organization, you benefit. You get to pick the winners and the losers. And your friends are always the winners, and the working class are always the losers. We've experienced this process, not socialism, but this process of consolidation of power and resources, with the people at the top choosing their friends as the winners and the people at the bottom being the losers. The widening of the wealth gap in America cannot be argued. However, when the social engineers keep the people divided on these stupid culture war issues instead of real class issues, and how the governments, the banks, and religions, for all of recorded human history, have been the primary sources of human suffering. That is a fact. But when we do not look at that fact, but we do look at, trans people in bathrooms, which is a conversation that should be had, I agree. However, they're using these conversations and like whiteness, all this talk about whiteness and systemic racism and all of that. They use these divisive topics to keep us from uniting. And I just want to add into all of this, entrepreneurs are also to blame. Most of the entrepreneurs I know do not pay their employees very well. They know that the cost of living is out of control, but I don't believe all entrepreneurs are like this, but most of the ones that I know, and I would say a lot of them are like this, in that they sort of accept that this is just the way things are, and that they don't have to be better than the system they are participating in. So even if they acknowledge that things are fucked in America and that these systems are not helpful to the working class and are actually quite hindering, they just comply because they have found comfort in complicity, comfort in the little bit of wealth that they've been able to obtain, and then the status that comes with wealth. There is a lot of association with wealth and status. That's part of the paradigm. That's part of the system and how they perpetuate it. But if you are someone who sees a problem, who sees a system that is broken, instead of advocating and for fighting for change and for being better, you become complicit. You are part of the problem. And so we have that layer to add to Christian's layer of the fact that the education system just does not teach about the true history of socialism and the true workings of socialism. It is just mostly slogans and bromides that are meant or designed to trigger an emotional response. And then, oh man, I'm reading this book called Psychohistory, and there's a chapter titled something like Feminism in Chinese, gosh dang it. Okay, the chapter is titled Death Prophet, Evil, and the Chinese Feminist Movement. And I want to actually read this chapter on the channel because it's fucking hilarious. There is, and I didn't know it to this degree, in a traditional Chinese history, a hugely misogynistic and sexist culture around the fact that women are seen as infantile, seen as childish, seen as something needing to be managed, and therefore they are not equal to men. And I kind of knew that because that's just how women have been treated historically, but I didn't know to the depths in which it was true. But anyways, how is that connected to socialism? I do believe women are more easily emotionally manipulated, which makes them more susceptible to socialist propaganda, which is why there is a bigger divide in that there are more women on the left in general, and then especially in the more activist circles and the further left they go. But in general, I think a lot of women just sort of, are easier to manipulate emotionally. Therefore, propaganda works on them more than it works on men. And I don't care if you think that's sexist to say. I do believe men fall for propaganda too. It's just a different kind of propaganda. It's more of like the fascist, nationalistic propaganda that works on them. But it just puts us in this really weird situation where we have so many fucking idiots perpetuating a very broken, very bad system. And they're all fighting each other. And they're not even having any good conversations. The level of discourse that our collective is having right now is pathetic. It's so rare that I see a conversation where I'm like, man, that was just such a good conversation. It's so rare. It's just this stupid culture war crap. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let me find a way to wrap up this video. Entrepreneurs are part of the problem. Oh yeah, here's where I want to wrap up. The reason people like myself and other more generous individuals are not in the positions that we're in is exactly because we are benevolent and because we do care that we will literally give our shirts off our backs for someone else. I won't tell the story, but you know, I literally helped pull a suicide jumper off a bridge. I would literally give my shirt off the back if someone needed it. I cry almost all the time when I drive through the worst parts of cities that have homelessness encampments. I feel so much for the working class. And one thing that I think more entrepreneurs should do, and one thing that I will do if I ever make it, when I make it, profit sharing. It is the easiest way to build investment from the bottom rung of your company, from the lowest level employee. They know that if they know that they get an X% of net profit every quarter, they're going to be motivated to actually care about efficiency and to care about saving costs and to care about doing quality work. If they know that they're actually going to receive a portion of what they're investing their time and energy into, the return on that investment, I do believe that the person who puts up the initial capital to get a business going should be the primary benefactor. I believe that. I'm not a fucking communist. I am a voluntarist, an anarchist. No government, no laws, whatever. But I just think that's the right thing to do. That's the virtuous thing to do. And if more entrepreneurs engaged in profit sharing, their companies would do better. And we would have fewer people going to these massive corporations that are soulless and don't fucking care about you or me. We need more small businesses and we need more entrepreneurs. The problem is many entrepreneurs just build their company a little bit and then sell it to like this big firm, and then it all gets corporatized. And this video is getting long and rambling. Check out Christian's channel. Check out this channel, like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out the description for merch. I got some cool shirts. Check it out. Much love.